Alright, we're back topside here. We're going to replace the upper motor mount, this guy here. This one lives right here in front of the engine on the side. I'm in the front of the engine here looking toward the firewall, and I got you positioned here on the side. Hopefully the camera doesn't fall down. Remember, we still have the engine supported by the floor jack. So we want to keep that position there while we do this, just to take the load off the engine. And this could get a little sketchy. Hopefully it doesn't for us. We got three bolts to replace. This one remove. This one here, which is a I think it's a 17. It's an 18 millimeter here, and then these down here, I think it's a 14. No, excuse me, it's a 15. And so what I'm going to do is these two here that mount to the engine block, they have a tendency, if they rust in, for the studs to break off. So I'm not going to use any power tools on this. I'm going to just use hand tools and cross my fingers that I'm able to get them loose, and ours are not rusted in or seized in there, and they come out cleaning. So we'll get started. Try this outside one here. Let's see where I can get the most leverage without. Okay, it turned a bit. I'm going to take this very slowly. Like I said, I don't want to destroy these bolts. That seems really loose. Hopefully I didn't put that much torque down on it, but doesn't feel broken. Okay, so the next one. Okay, so these feel fairly loose. I think we got lucky. I've seen people just shear these right off, and what a nightmare to get them out. I didn't want to be one of those guys. Oh, it came out nice and clean. Good. Get this next one, and then we'll get that one there. We'll hit that one with the tool, with the impact. Just make it quicker. But this one's for sure. I didn't want to mess around with these at all. Clean, the threads look perfect. Awesome, we got lucky. No rust. We're going to get this back one. Okay. And that one looks good as well. Looks like they had some Loctite on it. It's just kind of weird. I guess you could put some Loctite on it if you wanted to. I'm not going to. I don't see why it's fully necessary to put Loctite on this. Especially that side is kind of squeezed in there between two pieces of metal. So what we want to do is, since our clearance is minimal, we want to be able to bring this wishbone and try to slide it up. Maybe I need to bring it down and twist it. Let's see here. That way, hopefully, it's a tight squeeze. These are our AC lines, so I don't want to jerk them around too bad. I want to get this out all in one piece. Just to remove this, so I can show you this nut on the side here that this little bracket's mounted to. I think this bolt, center bolt, is caught in the way. I was hoping to avoid it. Let's see how much pressure I can get here without dropping the camera. where the camera went. What's gonna happen? Let me see if I can reposition it. Sorry, y'all. No balance. There we go. Alright, let's fight with it a little bit more. What else can we do? I mean, we could, I guess, technically remove that bolt there. And again, it's going to be kind of tight, especially if the problem is I wanted to bring it down because that bolt's coming through here, and if this is all worn out, there's not much. Well, I guess on the other side, there, since I already took it apart, there's not much for it to hold it for me to actually grab that nut and spin it off, especially with the clearance we have. So we'll try another time here, maybe. If I can twist this guy. No, it's got too much flex. Oh, there it goes. That was actually easy. Okay. I was making it more difficult than it was. You can tell on this one, let me see what y'all are looking at here. You can tell this mount's no good as well. It's fully cracked right here. So, another good call that all these need to be replaced. I'm very curious what the transmission mount looks like. So let me see if I can spin this bolt off real quick. We're going to have to take this off too. I'm not totally sure. Oops, I hit the camera again. Sorry, guys. All right. I'm not totally sure what the purpose of this is for. I don't know if if something totally fails, if it hits on something. I don't know. So we're gonna have to, I guess, we'll transfer this little piece here onto the new one, along with this piece here. That mounts it to the engine. Alright, let me see what let me get the tools for this. Let me balance this camera out a little bit. Bear with me, sorry about that. Okay, so what size is this? I got 3/4 inch. 18. Oh, 18 fits it. Alright. That bolt. So you gotta remember which way this goes. So this goes this way. So that goes that way. So this one comes and locks against there. Get this bolt in. We'll just slowly start it. I'm gonna just start it in here. Just hand tighten it. I'm not gonna tighten it all the way until I get it back mounted inside the engine bay. Just so this pivots slightly and we line it up perfectly, and then there's enough room where we can get a wrench in there and actually torque it down. So let me see what it's like. These screws here is a T40, T25. Let me see what I got. What did I do? Let's see, T40, not a T40. A T30, if I have a T30. Let's see. That's T40. No. Oh, these are all too big. Small. Alright, how about a T30? Alright. Now the problem is they're torqued on there. So I'll probably end up breaking this tool. Okay, let's use the other side. Golly. What they put on you, super glue? epoxy. And again, I have no idea what this thing is even on there for. If somebody knows, let me know. I'm curious. It's on there, so we'll keep everything as stock as possible. Just really curious what these are for. God, I know I have this socket somewhere to make this quicker. I apologize. It's going to be a little bit slow and tedious. Come on. One. Finally. Oops. Well, there they are. They were on there good. Almost. Get used to using power tools and you forget how long it takes to do something simple like this. Alright, so which way did this face? That's the short side. So they faced on the back side. Here. Very interesting. I'm very curious what this is for. Bye-bye, junk. Okay, I finally got that mount in there. Sorry, I had to move the camera for a second. It was in the way of where I needed to get my hands down there and kind of manhandle that mount into place. But I left it where it was. I didn't pull it back out. I was able to drop it in and slide it this way. And then I was able to slide that one into its pocket here. So it can be done. So anyway, we're going to start with the 2 bolts here. Again, these are 15 millimeter. And I'm going to try to just gently hand tighten these. Start with these 2 first, of course. Make sure that we're fully set on this part. I figured this is probably the weakest part of the mount versus that part. So get this guy lined up first. I'm just going to hand snug it. I'm not going to torque it down yet. Sorry, my hand's probably in the way. My bad. Seem to forget the camera's there all the time. Alright, so there we go. And then this one will get down the hand tight. Okay, that's hand tight. Then we're going to do this bolt. We're going to line her up with this one. So it's going to fit a little bit differently, so just fair warning that this engine was probably shifted, I guess, a little bit this way because the mount was worn. So I don't want to put no torque on the engine to move it this way because everything's actually plastic. You know, the timing cover's plastic, the intake manifold's plastic, the valve cover's plastic. So I would typically on a different engine will kind of help move it out that way, but this one I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try, see if I can line this up, and we'll use the power of once we get the screw in, we'll use the power to help it line itself up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get my breaker bar, and I'm trying to fit it around this AC line. Hopefully it fits. Maybe that's what that little tab's for, who knows. But let's see if I can even fit it. There we go. I'm going to push it just slightly. And we're almost there. Looks like it tweaked on me a little bit. Come back. There you go. Just get started in there if I can. Okay. It's a little bit better. Let's see if I get this guy out without destroying the AC. Okay, we're good. There we go. Getting nice and lined up. Use the power of the tool to get it hopefully home softly. Okay, so it needs a little bit more convincing. Let's see if we can get this guy back in here. So I can push it. At the same time, let's see if I can find the hole. Nope, still can't get it. Alright. See if we attack it from a different angle. Well, what I'm going to do is see if we can balance it out first. I'm going to loosen these up just a tad. Just give us a little bit more playroom. Okay, I think that's good. Let's see what this thing's doing. We need to kind of, oh, that feels much better. Let's see if I was able to get home that bolt. Yes, I did. There we go. It was just a little bit off, so it made a big difference to loosen up the front two bolts. The front two, I'm going to torque them down tool tight. I'm not going to use an impact on this one. I don't want to shear these bolts accidentally. Okay. I give it the beans a little bit. There you go. Right, so now we're going to tighten this down. Just hit it real quick with the tool. That's it. I'm not going to do anything more than that. All I know for sure is that impact will bust off a wheel stud pretty quickly. So, all right. So the next thing is remember that one bolt that goes through the mount. We gotta tighten it down. So it's, I believe it's a 15. I think that's what we use to take it off. I don't have a 15 metric somewhere. I misplaced it, so I'm just gonna use a 3/4 to reach down here in between the two AC lines. And you're able to reach the bolt ever so slightly. And I'm gonna hand torque this one down. So here, go a little bit old school on this one. That's okay. You can take some aggression out on one bolt. If I can grip it. There you go. One more turn. Should do it. Let me try that over here. I think she's in. Yeah. That's going to stay there. Alright. So the next part is we're going to go over to the driver's side and locate that transmission mount.